Hello and welcome to another episode of Common Sense Talk with Paul Fadumo. My name is Ejiro Sakede and I'm excited to be here again with you today. And Mr. Paul is also here. How are you, Mr. Paul? How are you doing today?
I am good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Confirm. Okay, you're welcome, welcome, welcome. So, guys, we're going to wait for a little bit so that we can have our people join us. Those are us. We can have people join us on the show.
Okay.
We're just getting old on a bit. So, how are you doing? How is your weekend? How is today now?
Well, not bad, not bad. I'm pulling through.
Confirm. That's good.
Yeah,
Good to have you here. So
thank
today
you.
on the show, we will be talking about how to become self-aware. So this is our topic for today: how to become self-aware. Right. So we're going to be, talking, asking questions around, what is even self-awareness? How can we become self-aware? If we're not self-aware, what do we need to do? What are some practices that we need to put in place to be able to say, okay, now I'm practicing self-awareness? Because I feel like that's a topic that when you're aware of yourself, when you're aware of who you are, it just helps you position yourself better in life, right? So, so for those of
Okay, I'm trying to share this screen.
yes,
It's
please
broken.
help me share. Help me share to your page. If you're joining us, please let us know where you're joining from. Let me see your comments. Say hi. Where are you joining from? What part of the world are you joining from? And yeah, I can see the platform you're joining from, but just let me know where are you joining from. Why we wait for a little bit for more people to join us and then we'll kick into the discussion. Today we are talking about how to become self-aware because it is important to know. I see you, Sir Joseph Archie. Thank you for joining. you know, being self-aware is quite an important thing for us to know right now because if you're not aware of yourself first and then your immediate environment, it kind of dis disposition you in a way. But I mean, I'm not the expert here. Mr. Paul Fadumo is, so he's going to be taking us deeper into the topic. But while we wait for others to join us from Abu Dhabi, Mr. Joseph Achi is joining us all the way from Abu Dhabi. Okay, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Yes, peace out. We'll see you. We'll see you, sir. All right, please. I see other people online. Come on, don't be shy. Myself and Mr. Paul won't bite you. Just let us know where you are connecting from. Let us see where you are connecting from so we can give you a shout out. Or don't you want us to give you a shout out? Our audience would like to, shout out at you as well. So let's do that. Let's do that for one more minute, and then we're going to kick this off into the main discussion of the day, which is how to become self-aware. Come on, guys. I'm waiting for you. Please let us know where you're connecting from. For those of you on Facebook, for example, you will get a notification when you join the live chat to say if you want to chat, just click on this link to to allow you chat with your identity, like with your name, so that we can see your name on the screen. Mr. Archie say, Paul, you look handsome. Hey, Mr. Paul, what do you have to say to that?
Thank you, Mr. Archie. I'm grateful. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. Why now? We have a couple of people. Are you guys shy? Come on, let us know where you're connecting from. Let us know where you're connecting from. Atinuke Adeleke says from Dubai. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. It's great to have you here. Thank you. All right, so yeah, 1 minute is gone, so we're just going to start now. So I'm going to start and read the Wikipedia's definition of self-awareness, and then Mr. Paul is going to take it from there. Wikipedia says that self-awareness is the experience of one's own personality or individuality. It is not to be confused with consciousness in the sense of qualia. While consciousness is being aware of one's environment, and body and lifestyle, self-awareness is the recognition of that awareness. That one is deep. So, Mr. Paul,
Okay, I can't hear you. I think you're frozen kind of from here. So you are kind of frozen from here. So what I'll do is just I'll do a little bit of what self-awareness is. Self-awareness is one of the 10 skills that has been identified by WHO. All right, and it tops the list of these 10 uh, these 10 life skills. Okay, so I think I'm trying to wait. Okay, I've seen her question. She said, what is self-awareness? Thank you. All right, so just like you have read out, self-awareness is, an understanding of one's own individual or personality, an understanding of your value, an understanding of your emotions, your belief system, your thought, for instance. These are things that are supposed to be uh, regular, supposed to be something that we experience from time to time, all the time. But because, especially for those of us who are from Africa, um, it has been the consciousness of being aware of yourself is not something that we are used to, because when you look at the background where we come from, and generally as children learn from their environment, and the environment consists of the parents, the immediate family members, every other thing that makes up the environment, which means includes the house, pets, for instance, or other ecosystem, that made up the whole of the environment. Now, children learn from all these people. So if I talk in a particular way, there's a chance that my children are paying attention to what I say. Not even a chance. They are paying attention to the way I talk, the way I relate with people. All right. So by way of that, children learn how to communicate, how to talk to people based on what they see adults do. All right. And there's something that is common to us. And this is not just in Africa. I've seen it here in Asia as well. That children at some point, parents quiet that which is supposed to help them graduate into understanding themselves as time goes on. It could be as a result of culture, it could be as a result of different practices, So these things which we now identify as self-awareness is quieted in children. For instance, there are children that talk a lot. There are children that love to play a lot. There are children that ask questions. They are always asking questions. Mommy, what is this? Mommy, what is that? Daddy, what is this? And then in Africa, we are used to quieting them, saying, shut up, you talk too much. You understand? All right. So when children, for instance, when your child take your phone, all right, that child he wants to explore that phone. Okay, but to you as a parent, you think what's in your mind is that this child will break this phone. And sincerely, if care is not taken, the child might break the phone. But what's important is that that child is being explorative. That child
Okay.
is exploring that phone or whatever it is. It could be a radio. There are times you see children, they want to know, they want to discover who is talking in that radio. All right. I give you another example from babies. Babies, you see, they bite their own hands. When you touch them, you are playing with them, they put your hands in their mouth.
And bite
All
it as
right.
well.
They are not biting naturally, they are just feeling it. It's just an explorative way of just exploring their environment, trying to study and understand their environment. All right.
So, can you
So,
hear me now?
you say what?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I want to
Yeah.
ask, like, how is that, like, how do you connect that? So, are you saying that self-awareness is about um, being conscious of even the people around you? Would that
Yes,
because you're talking most of
I'm telling you, I'm laying a foundation for what self-awareness is.
okay,
So
okay.
every child have the ability to be self-aware, innate ability.
Hmm.
Okay, because I'm saying it is a life skill that was supposed to be a continuous thing that is developed. But
Hmm.
and I'm now creating a foundation for those of us who are from Africa. The reason why we are mostly unaware.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
And I've written in my book that many people, majority of people in Africa, when I was in Africa, I thought it's only Africans that are living on autopilot. But I've also found out that a lot of Asians also are living on autopilot. A lot of people around the world also. As I study this concept, I found out that even in America, there are so many people around the world who are living on autopilot. And the meaning of, what it means by living on autopilot is the opposite side of being self-aware. So if somebody is not self-aware, definitely that person is living on autopilot. Then what does it mean by living on autopilot? It means that you do things, without being conscious, without necessarily being conscious of the things that you are doing. You do things that you don't plan. I give you an example. Maybe you are in Abu Dhabi. Somebody say, or your friend, because you are not doing anything, so your friend say, my friend, come, let's go to the mall. You just get up and follow them, go to the mall without asking questions. Without, it's not important to you at that point. Questioning about why do I want to go to the mall with this guy? So you just go to the mall because that friend say, let's go to the mall. These are examples of simple example of people who are living their lives on autopilot. They get into a job or a career not because it is a deliberate decision, not out of a deliberate decision. It is because the people go to the university after secondary school, for instance, and so they also go to a university and then they say, what do you want to study? You might say, you see, a lot of children want to say, they would say, I want to study about I want to study to be a doctor. You say they want to be a lawyer. You see some of them saying they want to be a judge, even though they don't really understand the concept of these professions. All right, but because these are things that we respect in our locality or in the environment or wherever the child comes from, these are the things that is appealing to them. So they have that mentality up to their early adulthood and until when they go to the university. So, and the way it is in Nigeria, for instance, where you say you want to study medicine, and they say, okay, you did not score the enough cutoff now, so they give you maybe biology, or they give you something, maybe environmental study. I've seen somebody who eventually came abroad to study, who said he wanted to study medicine, then eventually ended up with zoology. All right. So, and people take these things that they are offered, the professions or courses that is offered to them, because they are not making conscious effort about their life. All right. So where I am going is that if you are self-aware, people who are self-aware usually know what they want. People who are self-aware, they are conscious, they believe, to them, a lot of them believe that life is predictable. For instance, I believe that life is predictable. I can predict what I'm going to do in the next 10 years or where I will be in the next 5 to 10 years. I can predict because I am self-aware, because I know what I'm doing. All right. So I'm not just living on paycheck. For instance, people are working. I was a civil servant while in Nigeria. Okay, and so
Hmm.
I've seen people who are living their life, the whole of their life. Actually, that's how they live their life
Just on
on
autopilot.
situations.
Hmm.
On
Hmm.
situations, yes. So it is wherever situations direct them to that they go to. You understand? So
Yeah.
they live their life based on whatever the circumstances
Like
of
anything.
life.
Life pushes
Anything goes.
anything goes. Mm, mm, mm.
Exactly. So
You know,
these are basic things that people need to know about self-awareness. But
so if I hear, yeah, so if I hear you clearly, I hear you
mm,
say that for you to be self-aware, from my own perspective, like what I'm thinking and hearing and just thinking about is that for you to be self-aware is for you to know yourself so much. that you are clear on what you like, what you don't like. You are clear on the things that affect you. You understand? So you're not in the dark where
So you know, including even things that are your emotions, for instance, your simplest emotions, such as what angers me, what is it that I don't like. I can't hear you. Okay, Ejiro, I can't hear you. In case you can hear me. So what I was saying is that even your emotions, you pay attention to emotions. For instance, paying attention to your emotions is like saying, I know what angers me. I know what makes me feel uncomfortable. All right. I understand why why or how I react to specific situations. There are so many people around the world who you see them just get angry. They cannot even explain to them. But before you have an outburst, there's already something that is already going within you, which you may not have paid attention to. There's already an emotion within. So people that are self-aware, they understand these uh, inner reactions or emotions, so they are able to control it or prevent it from even coming out. That's why you see somebody can be angry and still not have an outburst. And these are some of the benefits of being self-aware. All right. Ejiro, I hope you can still hear me. Now, maybe I should wait for you to come. Okay, you're coming up. Can you hear me? Okay, I still cannot hear you. Maybe you just type the question in the chat box. I will be able to say it. Okay, you can hear me. All right. So, I have itemized a little bit of a few points that you would see as why every individual, especially Africans, I am advocating for Africans. Okay, why Africans should actually consider self-awareness as a subject or something that they should strive for, that you should pay attention to, rapt attention to. All right. I think you asked a question. So now, how can one begin to self-aware? Okay. Before I go to your question, please let me quickly mention a few things that would look at an encouragement into why we should pay attention to self-awareness. Okay, self-awareness it makes your life become uh, predictable. I've talked about this a little bit earlier. Now it's what predicts. I mean, what what predates personality development. If somebody is not self-aware, he cannot even begin to talk about personality development or personal development, however you want to call it. All right. If you are not self-aware, you cannot begin to talk about personal development because you will not be able to understand it. So, to lay the foundation for personal development, you have to start with being self-aware. First of all, understanding yourself. Because if you don't understand yourself, it is difficult for you to say, this is where I want to go, or this is where I am taking my life to. On people whom you see saying, okay, this is what I want to be, this is what I want to do with my life, without being self-aware, in most cases, they are doing it looking at other people rather than looking at themselves. Okay, so people are saying, oh, I want to become a doctor, for instance. He's not looking at himself. He's looking at, because people respect doctors in his community. So that's why he wants to become a doctor. All right. Another important thing about, importance of self-awareness is it makes people become high effective. People who are self-aware, they are very, very effective people. You would love to have them as friends. You would love to work with them in the office, if they are self-aware, because they naturally know how to relate with other people. Now, another point is that it is an antidote. Self-awareness is the antidote to living on autopilot. If you know somebody that is living on autopilot, so these people are the ones that I talked about earlier. They do things because they see other people do it. They do things without thinking, without critical thinking, without critically considering situations around them. You should, you know, recommend self-awareness, that such a person pay attention to self-awareness. It becomes an antidote to autopilot. It helps us to accurately judge our behavior. It is very, very important for us to be able to judge our own behavior, to be able to understand our own behavior, and to be able to also understand our own performance. You'll be able to say, okay, I didn't do well. That was why, or I did not invest enough into an activity or into a program. That's why I get the kind of results that I got. When I first came to Abu Dhabi, we went to Dubai for our driving test, driving license. Okay, and so the first test that we had, a lot of people failed, including me. And I saw a lot of us saying, "Oh, it was these Arabs. They don't like us, Jari. That's why we did not pass this, that." So, but there was two of us, me and one guy, that we told ourselves that, see, these people did not have anything. They did not have reason to hate us. Okay, so we studied the comment on the paper they gave to us. Meanwhile, I saw people immediately they stepped out of the office. They just squeeze the paper and throw it away. So they didn't even study the reason why they failed. So me and this guy, we decided that we have to pay attention to what is it that we did not do well. These are some of the importance of somebody or people that are self-aware. They pay attention to details. They want to know why A or B happens. This person say no personal development without self-awareness. Yes, thank you. I'm happy that somebody is following. All right. So the implication of being self-aware is that you'll be able to know, to judge yourself rightly. You'll be able to look at your decision. Where is it that I've gone wrong? What is it that I did not do that led to this A, B, or C? Which could be a situation that you are in at a particular time. Now, it also enhances good relationship. If you want to better your relationship, this is something that I am recommending for couples or young couples, whether people that are dating or people that are already in a relationship. That the two people who are in a committed relationship should focus on self-awareness. If you focus on self-awareness, I'm telling you, it can actually resolve 90% of relationship challenges. But it will not work if only one person is working on it and the other person is not. So it would have to be something that the two people that are in the relationship, I'm talking about an intimate relationship now, maybe people who are going to be marrying themselves, or people who are already married. And then finally, self-awareness is a bedrock for self-esteem. This is very, very important. There are a lot of us, whether from Asia or people who are from Africa, who have zero self-esteem. And this is just true. It's just a fact. Okay. So if you want to build self-esteem, if you know a child that is struggling with self-esteem, I highly recommend self-awareness. Because as you begin to understand yourself, it becomes easy for you to appreciate yourself. It becomes easy to know some things that are good, that are great about yourself, But unfortunately, people study other people. They know other people, but they don't know themselves. For instance, we know about popular actors in Africa or in America, for instance, but we don't know ourselves. We know our politicians. We don't know ourselves. There are people, if you say, even adults, I'm talking about adults now, not even children, ask them to write an essay about themselves. You find out that some of them cannot even write a page about themselves. or maybe at most they talk about their career, their job. Even though your job is part of your life, they talk about the fact that they have children. But there are some other things that are very, very important that makes your person. So if you don't understand these things, whatever you are building is building on the basis of what you see outside, not you, not your person, right? So knowing who you are helps to improve and cement your relationship. Yes, thank you so much. Uh, so now to answer Ejiro's question. So the question is, so now how can one begin to practice self-awareness? If you Google this subject, you will find a lot of materials, you find a lot of suggestions, you find people saying all manners of things, but I've itemized a couple of steps which are based on the things that I have practiced myself. I am from a rural area, okay, in Ekiti State. So, and I spent the first 21 years of my life all in the village. So, but the fact that after college that I got to, exposed to some things that I did not know before then, from that moment onward, my life transformed. So these are things that I have practiced myself. It is not just based on theory. What I'm going to be, with the few points that I'm going to be itemizing now, they are based on things that I have practicalized in my own self, in my own life that has worked wonder. So number one thing on my suggestion list would be that you activate your curiosity. So Ejiro, you noticed that initially I was building on the fact that every child is born with the ability for curiosity. All right. So now, and looking at the context of Africa or cultural background of most Africans, this curiosity usually died off, depending on, maybe now that some parents are a little bit educated, so some children may not have that
Will not be
challenge, but
shut
a
down
lot of,
anymore.
yes,
Because
they may
now
not be
even
shut down
the
anymore.
parents are now more aware. So it helps
Exactly.
them to guide and just let the children grow with all their curiosity and express every creativity that they have in them. Very true.
You
Very
got it.
true.
You got it. So now for a young adult who may not have gotten to that level, he needs to go back to that beginning, to activate his curiosity. This is very important. And what do you do? How do you activate your curiosity? Ask questions. Ask yourself questions. For instance, if Ejiro say, Paul, let's go to the mall, I should ask myself, why should I go to the mall with Ejiro? If you want me to, if I'm going to be, if somebody say, okay, there's an opportunity somewhere, I should ask myself, why do I need that opportunity? Why do I want to go for that opportunity? That's questioning everything. I mean, everything that you do, question it. As I am today, I see what others don't see, even when we are walking on the same road. If 2 or 3 or 5 of us are walking on the same road, I see what other people don't see. This is because I have built my level, my level of consciousness to a height whereby, it makes me to become super sensitive to things that other people don't see. So I notice what most people don't see. Read widely. This is another way to build or activate your curiosity. Read widely. Read fiction. Read non-fictions. Watch movies. If you are an African, for instance, if you are a Nigerian, for instance, you don't need to always watch only Nigerian movie. Watch American movies. Watch FBI movies. There are series on free on YouTube. These are ways that even as young adults or adults that we can reactivate our curiosity, ability for curiosity. Number 2 is take psychometric tests. Take a lot of psychometric tests. These are things that helped me. Okay, these are and I'm saying it that this is not based on what somebody has written. These are based on the things that I have practicalized myself. And some of them I've written in this book, My Experiments with Common Sense. So, and it has worked wonder for me, like I said. And there are people I can even I can mention names of people. Even this evening, somebody still called me, an Indian, still telling me that, Paul, we cannot imagine how much some of the things that you have taught us has helped us. So take a lot of psychometric tests. It's very, very important. And I would suggest there's a website where you can take it for free. It is the website URL is 16 personalities, www.16personalities.com. Personalities, plural, 16, 1, 6, one word. Number 3, utilize your alone time. Mama, I do call it me time. Okay, utilize this time to take an inventory of your life. What do I mean by that? Taking inventory of your life includes, looking back. Look back at 10 years. If you're an adult, look at the last 10 years. Write it down. This, and me alone time means that it's a time where you are alone. Maybe you are in your room alone. You're not doing anything. You're not watching TV. You're not listening to music, and you're not praying. But you are just, taking time. You usually you have a note and a pen. Take an inventory. So time I did so thing. Events that are important in your life. Write them down. And then now analyze them one by one. Why did I do this? I did this at some point. Look at also your early childhood aspirations and your current aspirations, life aspirations. Write them down. The things you want to, the things you like, your interests. Write them down. Your values, your principles. Write them down. The implication of this is that, see, by the time you consciously take these steps, you become a man or woman of principle. New values will begin to spring up from within you. You'll be able to say, this is me. This is who I am. This is how I want to live my life. You'll be able to pattern your life in a particular way. All right. And this is something that happens over time. Now, that's number 3 is utilize your alone time or me time, however you want to call it, alone time or me time. Then number 4 is to ask close friends and family members, people who are close to you. If you are married, you can ask your husband or your spouse. Ask your spouse or your friends, your close friends or family members, what do you know about me? What do you think about me? What kind of person? If I ask you, Ejiro, for instance, suppose Ejiro is a close friend or maybe a close family member, I could just ask Ejiro on a serious matter and say, Ejiro, what do you think about me? When it comes to if somebody say, okay, Paul, what comes to your mind? Take holistic, sincere review from people. Ask them what if somebody is ask you about me when I am not there, what will you say? What comes to mind when my name is mentioned? And there's a psychometry application that has been developed by that is used by psychologists. They call it Johari Windows. You can study about Johari Windows. It has 4 columns like this. I don't know whether you can see this. Okay, so it has open area. It has closed areas. It has unknown areas. So anyway, I think you should just study it because I won't be able to dabble into that. That is something else that maybe you might be able to look at it even on this platform in the near future. Johari Windows. Just Google it and then research about it. Look at how you can use that to understand yourself. That's my 4th point. Ask close friends and family members. The last one, which is the fifth one, is to identify what interests you. Identify what interests you, or no, not all, and irritates you. So, for instance, you want to know what is it that I don't generally like. That's one. Two, what is it that I like? Yeah. Thank you, Ejiro. Johari Window. Yes, you should research on that, and you can use it to understand yourself better. So the final one, which is the fifth point, is identify what interests or and not or sorry, it's what irritates you. This is very, very important. For instance, I want to look at what is it that I want to change in this community where I live. What is it that I normally see or that happens regularly that I don't like? When maybe when some people make noise, for instance, or maybe people play too much in this street and I don't like it. It irritates me. Why? So you look at your interest also. What is it that you normally love to do? When I was writing my book, some of the things that I researched was, for instance, was what is it that if I am that I will be doing, that I'll be able to do, and do it and enjoy without being paid. What is it that I enjoy doing and I will do it, without being paid. These are some of the things that you can pay attention to, that helps you to identify your areas of interest and things that you hate, or things. And if you want to identify things that irritates you, you can look at what is it that I would love to change in this world or where you live. That would help you to identify the things that irritate you. And that's the fifth point. Ejiro, any further question? You can check if maybe people might be asking questions there.
Fantastic. Can you hear me now? Thank you so much.
Yeah, I can hear you.
This has been really, really explanatory. I hope that everyone watching has gotten one thing or the other. Please, if you do have a question, please type it in the comment section. Let us put it on the screen so that Mr. Paul can take your questions and clarify anything that might feel like you really don't get. Thank you so much for pointing out these things. I like the part where you say, maximizing, or just how did you even put it? You're maximizing your me time, just trying to figure out, what makes me do the things that I do. There is a book that I can recommend. Is by Tim LaHaye, Why You Do the Things You Do. Studying your temperament, knowing, whether you're a phlegmatic, a sanguine like me, you know what I'm saying? Or a choleric, so for example, cholerics are people that like to be in charge. So when people start seeing you as you are bossy, if you are aware, then you can use it positively, right? You are able to use that as a leadership skill rather than bullying people into doing what you want them to do. So like being self-aware is such a, like Mr. Paul said from the beginning, like it's such, he said WHO rated it one of the top skills of the season. That is so true. Like even at your place of work, just knowing how you operate, right, helps you deal better with your superiors and with your subordinates. Because now you're able to also, because when you're self-aware, you are able to also spot some things in other people. So you begin to ask questions, why did this person act the way they did? Because sometimes you're talking to your subordinate, for example, and the person is crying. And you're like, I don't understand. I'm just pointing out to you what you didn't do right. Why are you crying? But being self-aware will help you know that, okay, maybe this person's temperament is like they react so much to words and expression. So when you're talking to people like that, you're not fierce. You're not.
No, that you be when you are self-aware, it helps you to become empathetic.
True,
So
very
which means you are able to put yourself in other people's shoe.
Yes. Very, very, very correct. Very, very correct. Yes, very correct. All right. So, any questions? Do we have any questions from the people who are watching? Any question for us today? If there is none, we will then be rounding off this, right? So you've listened or you've heard all like the 5 steps that Mr. Paul has elaborated on for things to or ways to begin to practice self-awareness, just beginning to notice things around you. I love the fact of questioning things. Like I think that's one biggest part of the things that affect us in Africa. We don't question things. So and that's why we have religious fanatics, because they don't question why is this thing done the way it is done. Why must we do things this way? And because even the religious bodies don't really give space for questioning. So yeah. It says, Atineke says, how do you handle the new you that people don't understand?
Okay. How do you handle the new you that people don't understand because your values have changed? I love this. Okay. I really love this. Now, I was going to say before this question came in, I was going to say that if you understand yourself, people who have gone through the process of understanding themselves, they can change themselves. Okay, you're able to rebirth yourself, kind of. You are able to change yourself. For instance, I used to, when I first started taking psychometric test, I used to be an introvert. But as we speak right now, I'm no longer an introvert. So I am between, in fact, I am tilting more. I have not totally become an extrovert, but I'm tilting towards being an extrovert. So I can no longer be said to be an introvert. Even though if I want to be an introvert in some situations, I can still be an introvert. All right. But and where situations warrant me to be like an extrovert, I can also be minimally, at least, to my own taste. So I love this question that's coming from Atinuke. See, the thing is that when I said earlier that one of the benefits of being self-aware is that it builds your self-esteem. Now, people who have gotten a high level of self-esteem in African society can be seen as being proud. This is something that you have to know. Sometimes ago, I was telling, I think maybe my wife, I was telling her that as we develop our level of self-awareness, self-esteem, and self-confidence, Africans generally begin to perceive you. There's possibility that Africans, begins to perceive you as being proud. Now you have to be ready to deal with that, because it is different for them. It is strange for people to have seen you behaving in that particular way. But you who understand what you are doing, who understand yourself, now you won't be bothered because you have understood yourself. You are now conscious of the reason why you behave the way you behave. You are conscious of the reason why you see things the way you see things. So it's no longer about the people. It's no longer about what people say, because normally we are expected to behave, quote unquote, in a normal way. But as you become aware of yourself, as you begin to identify your personality or yourself, there's possibility. In fact, I do tell people, especially Africans, until people begin to think that you are proud, you have not begin
You
to
have not
develop
started
self-esteem.
changing. Very
Yes,
true. Very true.
you have not begin to develop self-esteem. So these
Mm.
are things you have to be conscious of. So being conscious of it will not make you worry.
Yes, you will not worry about what they think because you know
Yes,
exactly the change that has happened to you. And then you
exactly.
just be you. You don't worry about what they think. You're not worrying about trying to convince them to understand what you're doing. They will get to it. They'll catch up with you. And if they don't, well, you'll be like, okay,
Exactly.
it's not my
And
fault.
another thing that we should bear in mind is
Hmm,
that you are the one that is on a journey to somewhere,
true.
not them. and you don't, in most cases, you don't owe them explanation.
Bam.
You don't owe people. For instance, me, I don't owe people explanation. If I had to be conscious of people or what people think or what people thought about me some few years ago, I wouldn't be here today.
True.
I wouldn't be here today. All right. So
Hmm.
these are things that you have to bear in mind as you progress towards self-awareness,
Hmm.
because it will make your there are stages of experiences that you would have. So some of them might include being shocked. Some of
Hmm.
them might include being feeling embarrassed. You feel
True.
like, how can I be like this all these years? How is it that I did not know all these things?
All these things.
How could I have subjected myself to some form of treatment
Hmm.
before? You
Hmm.
know,
Very true.
see, I do tell people that by the time most Nigerian women become self-aware, many Nigerian men would be scared of them.
Very true. And that's when that's when they name us feminists.
So I hope this has been helpful to you, Atinuke.
Yes, she
Okay,
says
now she
exactly.
agrees.
Just wow. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. Thank you, Atinuke, for asking that question, because you just kind of brought out some other things that are salient that we need to know, that these things are going to happen. As far as you're going through that change, people are going
yeah,
to react to you. But don't let their reaction stop you, because in the first place, it's not being aware of that reaction in the first place. That's why you conform to what people believe. This is the way we do it. But why? And that's about what, like when you started, that was how we were when we were younger. A child will keep asking you, why is this thing blue? Because that's color blue. Why? And I think the reason parents shut them down at that point is because even they don't know better. They didn't ask questions. They
yes.
did not
Now,
know why they were doing the things that they did.
yeah,
It's like, say
that's
parents,
the con.
yeah, when young people want to get married, and then their parents are like, no, you can't marry from this tribe. And the kids are like, why? Like, no, my father did not allow us marry from that tribe, so you will not do. I'm like, really? So questioning a lot of things is a great way to start being self-aware, because when you do question, sometimes you would notice that most of the things that we really practice or believe now have no basis whatsoever. Like, if you want to look at it, whether you're a religious person, you want to look at it based on scriptures, if there is no base to it. If you want to look at it based on common sense, there is no base to it. But it's just that people don't ask questions, and so things just remain the way they are. Thank you so much. This has been a very engaging session. I want to say a big shout out and a big thank you to Atinuke Amadileke for just being part of this. Thank you, Ugoize Chike. Thank you for everybody who joined and people that I can see their name here who made a comment. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And thank you, Mr. Paul, for dishing out value again on common sense with Paul Fadumo. All right. So
Thank you.
we have any other questions? If not, we're going to be rounding it off here. And then we're going to be back next Thursday with another session. And please, if you would like to say you want to ask more questions, or you would like us to talk about a particular topic that is bothering you, you can reach out to us by sending us a DM, or you can send us an email and just ask your question, so that we'll know, okay, this is a question in the hearts of people, and we're going to research based on our own experiences as well, especially Mr. Paul, and we're going to come out with the answers to your question. Atinuke says, I'm so glad kids this day are so inquisitive and you can hardly push them off. I mean, I think kids have always been inquisitive, just that
Yes,
before now,
now.
the parent just totally shuts them up, right? So
Yeah.
please, if you want to reach out with your question, kindly send your questions to info@springmedia.ae. So send your questions to springmedia.ae, right? send your questions to springmedia.ae, and we'll be able to tackle whatever questions you have and just provide our own solution or suggestion and opinion on the matter. Mr. Paul, do you have any last words to say today before we shut this down?
All right. Like I said, the last event that we had, I said that we should keep an open mind. This is very important. You cannot overemphasize it. That keep an open mind. Keep an open mind. There's so many changes that is happening around the world now that it will be difficult for us to conform. All right. But if we don't keep an open mind, we will be left behind. So please don't be left behind.
Did you hear that? Do not be left behind, right? Do not be left behind. Just be aware rather. Thank you so much once again for being a part of this. Please visit our website on www.springmedianews.com for news around Africa. We are also into advertising for African businesses in the UAE and also around, African in diaspora generally. So you have a business that you want us to spotlight on, please send us an email and find out how we get this done. And then we're going to give you our quotations and things like that. If you are a SME and you're trying to, get a footing, you are trying to expand your business. You're in Africa, you are in Nigeria, you are in Kenya, you are in Congo, right? And you want to expand your business into the UAE market. We have the connect that you need. We have the plug that you need. So you can reach out to us either via DMs or visit our website or send us an email on info@springmedia.ae. And if you are watching us as well and you're a content person, you feel like you have value and you have a content that you think the world should hear, especially from an African perspective, then also reach out to us with your content, with your proposal, and we'll see how we can plug your content into what we are doing. We are here supporting African excellence, showing the word and telling the story of Africans in the positive light. Okay, thank you so much for joining us today. Until we come your way again next Thursday, thank you so much, Atinuke. Like you deserve an award, and don't worry, we'll find something. You have done well. We'll find something for you. Don't worry. Maybe what we can do for you, Atinuke Adeleke, is you send us an email with details of your business, and we'll be able to give you a shout out even on our website www.springmedianews.com. We are able to profile your business so that everybody who comes to our website can see what Atinuke does and probably patronize you. Okay, I hope that's fine. Let me see what you have to say to that. Atinuke, what do you say to that? Do you like that, or it's too small? All right, so let us have that happen. We'll be expecting your email, right? Yeah, she says, yay. Yes. You deserve it. Thank you for engaging with us and for staying with us from the beginning to the end of this session. All right, I'll let you guys go now. Mr. Paul, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure learning
Thank you for having me
today. Say me well to everybody in India. Tell them I want to visit India soon.
कोई बात नहीं.
Namaste. All right, guys. That's going to be all for today. We'll see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.